Mr. President, very distinguished senators of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, I do have a motion on behalf of the entire Senate following our resolutions at the executive session. But just before I move that motion, Mr. President, may I most respectfully first move that we suspend every other item on our order paper for today to enable us take this collective motion that we have on the state of insecurity in Nigeria. Mr. President, I so move.
Minority Leader.
Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, I rise to second the motion that we suspend all other items on the agenda except the motion on national insecurity. I so second.
Distinguished colleagues, the motion has been moved by the leader and seconded by the minority leader that we suspend all other items on the order paper for the day to take a motion of urgent national importance on the security situation in Nigeria. Those who are in support of this motion and second, they say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. So all items are hereby suspended, and leader, you may now move the motion on the national security issue.
Mr. President, distinguished senators, motion on the state of insecurity in the Nigerian nation. The Senate notes with sadness the rising spate of killings, kidnappings, banditry, and other criminal activities in the nation. Senate further notes the recent killings in Okokolo, Abuge, Ochi, Tonya communities in Agata local government area of Benue State, which led to loss of lives, including security personnel and wanton destruction of properties, as well as the brutal killings of 11 residents of Mbanyank community of Logo local government area of Benue State. Senate equally notes the various kidnappings within the Federal Capital Territory where victims have been killed after collecting ransom. Senate is also aware of several cases of kidnappings all over the country where huge ransoms have been paid and several of the victims still got killed. Senate also is aware that the recent killing of 2 traditional rulers in Ekiti State and the abduction of primary school pupils in Emure Ekiti have further aggravated the level of insecurity in the country. Senate notes the unfortunate bomb explosion at Bodija, Ibadan, in Oyo State, where not less than 5 lives were lost and several residential houses, schools, hotels, religious worship centers were destroyed. The Senate equally notes the killings of several residents of Mango Bokos and Barkin Ladi communities in Plateau State. Our prayer that the Senate do invoke the earlier resolutions to invite the security chiefs for an interactive session with the Senate with a view to resolving the insecurity that is plaguing the country. And 2, that the Senate do observe a minute silence in honor of the departed. Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, I so move on behalf of the entire 109 senators of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Thank you.
Minority Leader.
Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, I rise to second the motion ably moved by the Leader of the Senate on behalf of the entire Senate on the state of insecurity in the country. I so second.
Distinguished colleagues, the motion has been moved by the Leader of the Senate on behalf of the 109 senators of the Federal Republic of Nigeria and seconded by the minority leader in respect of the security situation in the country, particularly kidnappings, murder, banditry, and of course, unnecessarily the killing of people even after collection of ransom, and the fact that people have turned it into a merchandise where middlemen are now collecting money from victims. And the Senate has also noted the bomb explosion at Bodija in Ibadan in Oyo State that led to loss of lives and properties. Several residential houses, schools, hotels, religious and worship centers were destroyed. The Senate has also noted the killings of several residents of Bangu, Bokos, and Boko Ladi communities in Plateau State, and is asking that the Senate do invoke its area resolution to invite the security chiefs for an inquisitive session with a view to resolving the insecurity that is plaguing the entire country at the moment. Of course, finally, that the Senate should observe a minute silence in honor of the departed brothers and brethren and service personnel, as well as victims across the entire nation. Those who are in support of this motion are second, they say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. May we rise for 1 minute silence. May the souls of all the victims who have departed through ritual killings, kidnappings, banditry, insurgency, and other forms of insecurity in our dear country in the recent past rest in perfect peace. Distinguished colleagues, let me thank all distinguished senators for the collective motion that has just been moved, and to say that after the interactive session with our inquisitive session with the security chiefs, which we have agreed should be next week, because it must be as soon as possible, that will also fix a time to discuss the outcome with Mr. President. Because we have a responsibility to collaborate with the executive, contribute our ideas to ensure that our constituents and ourselves, including our children, can sleep with their two eyes closed. Security is everybody's business. And without security, we cannot have progress. As this 10th Senate, working with our colleagues, in the House of Representatives, we are very determined to make laws, resolutions, emphasize, aim at ensuring rapid progress of the country and immediate improvement in the economy of Nigeria. This will not be possible without a secured nation. So we'll take this up with Mr. President, but after the interactive session with all security chiefs. So Clerk of the Senate, as resolved by the 10th Senate, you will schedule them to meet with us next week, either in badges or individually, but it must be done so we can discuss and see how we can tackle this insecurity situation. In view of the elections in about 36 constituencies in the country coming up on Saturday, both houses of the House of Representatives and the distinguished chambers of the Senate, we have agreed that we have less than 48 hours to partake in the campaigns, which will close on Thursday by 12 midnight. And therefore, this Senate stands adjourned to the 6th day of February 2024 at 11 a.m. prompt.